good. I'm gonna give you guys a minute before you get in here. Come on in, family. Come on in. We're gonna get started in a minute. Man, on behalf of my mother-in-law, man, may God bless each and every one of you that catch this live. Man, may He continue to reveal Himself to you and reveal your purpose to you as well. You know what I mean? And what's up with you, Raymond? For those of you that catch this on a replay, man, may God bless you as well. May He continue to manifest Himself unto you as well. Man, let me know if the volume's coming in good. I have a mic on. I don't know if it's good or not, so I'm trying something new. What's up with you, Paul? And before we get started, I just need somebody to just let me know that the sound is good. The sound is okay. You can hear me all right. What's up with you, Eileen? Man, we haven't talked in a minute. How you doing, sis? Cool. Thank you, Paul. Man, so we're gonna go ahead and get started, family. Man, you guys see I got a hat on. Man, I have not shaved today. You know what I mean? It's been one of those days. Thank you, Raymond. Man, it's been one of those days. Just been trying to relax and just let my body rejuvenate and heal and just laying around today. I don't do this too often. You know what I mean? Hardly ever do it. So just been laying around and just haven't gotten up and shaved or none of that stuff. I brushed my teeth and cleaned up, but I didn't feel like shaving today. So I don't want the spikes, and the retrieving hairline all you guys focused on. That being said, I'm gonna start out with you can tell by the title, perspective, perspective, perspective. It's tricky because you hear a lot of people saying, man, you hear a lot of people saying perspective is everything. And perspective is everything. But the question is, what perspective do you have? You know what I mean? What perspective do you have? Years ago, I was a little kid and my aunt had married this guy from North Carolina and big country dude, but he loved fishing and hunting and stuff. So he took me out fishing and we're in the bay. And I want to say off the pier, San Francisco, one of the little beach strips, right? And we're out there fishing and it's real windy this day. And I've always been fascinated by the Bible as far as it's saying, be careful who you entertain, be careful how you treat people because some of us entertain angels and don't even know it. And so as a little kid, that's always fascinated me. I've always wanted to meet an angel. I've always wanted to be in the presence of an angel. You know what I mean? But for some reason, I'm expecting her to have wings and, to show themselves as an angel, not even understanding they're going to look just like you and I. They're going to sound just like you and I. You know what I mean? But I'm a little kid, so I'm still caught up in the fantasy world and all the fictitious stuff. So I'm still expecting them to have these big wings, a halo around their head, and all that other stupid stuff, right? And so we're out there at this beach and we're fishing, or we're trying to fish. It's windy as crap, and we're constantly throwing out with the wind. It's like every couple minutes we're having to reel our line in because it's been flown up on the sand, and it's not staying out there. We're putting on heavier weight, and it's just not working, right? And so, but we just keep trying. Excuse me. And this guy walks by seeming like out of nowhere. This guy looked like a hobo. He looked like a bum, just dirty and grimy and just, man, he just looked like I don't even know where this dude came from, honestly. I didn't even see him coming from far. And we're on the beach, so it's not like, you know, he snuck up on us. This guy, you had to get to where we're at, man, we had to walk a ways off. You know what I mean? And we didn't see this guy coming up. You know what I mean? And this guy just appeared out of nowhere, like 25 feet from me and just walking up towards us, right? And I'm looking at his clothes, I'm looking at his appearance, and in my mind, I'm a young kid, and my mind is like, man, this motherfucker better not say shit to me. Don't ask me for no fucking money. Don't ask me for shit, because I'm judging him based on his appearance. He hasn't said anything, nothing, but I'm judging him based on his appearance, how he looked. And so this guy walks up and I'm looking at him and I'm looking at him like recklessly. You know what I mean? I'm looking at him like, man, I'm ready to throw this pole down and we could squab right here, right now. Don't ask me for shit. You know what I mean? What's up with you, Obi-Wan? And so, man, he looks at me and he just keeps walking. He doesn't say anything to me, but he could tell that, man, I didn't want to have a conversation with him. He could tell by looking at me, because I make it known that, I give you a certain look that don't fuck with me today. It's not your day. You know what I mean? I don't have no patience for your bullshit today. And I've always had that demeanor. You know what I mean? When I don't want to be fucked with, I could give you a certain look and everybody know, oh, don't even say shit to his ass, because his motherfucking ass is on some shit today. He tripping today. So don't even say hi to him. You know what I mean? Don't say what's up to him. Don't even acknowledge him. Just keep moving. And so he kept moving, walked down to where my uncle was at, and he started talking to my uncle. And so I see my uncle reeling his line in, didn't think nothing about it, because that's all we were doing, is casting out and reeling our line back in, because our line wasn't staying out there. And he was having some words with my uncle. My uncle reeled his line in and threw it out, and his line stayed out perfectly. And I'm like, what the heck? How'd that happen? What did he tell my uncle? As soon as my uncle's line stayed out there, I kid you not, family, within 30 seconds, he had this fish. And he was reeling it in. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's luck, because that guy standing there. You know what I mean? It's a coincidence. You know what I mean? That's not real. And so my uncle brings in this fish, big fish, right out the ocean, this big, right? And so he puts some more bait on, casts it back out the way this guy told him to. Boom, another 15, 26. As soon as the thing hit the, it was like they were just jumping on this stuff, right? Boom, he's rolling in bigger fish this time, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck, right? And so I'm like, oh nah, that's luck. You know what I mean? And so I'm looking at my uncle, not even paying attention to the guy. The guy left. I didn't see where he went. And again, we're out on the shoreline. There's nothing, no cars, there's no buildings, nothing. We had to walk 15, 20 minutes to get to where we were at fishing. And it's just wide open space. And I didn't even see where this guy went to. And so my uncle cast out again for third time. And again, boom, as soon as this thing hit the water, boom, reeling in another fish. And I'm like, what the heck? So I drop my stuff and I walk over to him and I'm like, Uncle Ben, man, what'd he say? He said, we were fishing wrong. I said, what are you talking about? We were fishing wrong. He said, oh, because we're casting out this way. He told me to cast into the wind. We're casting in the direction of the wind. He said, no, cast into the wind. And so I'm like, okay. So I go back to where I'm at, cast into the wind, right? As soon as my stuff hit the water, boom, I get on a fish, reeling a nice fish. And I'm tripping like, oh, that's luck. You know what I mean? No, no, no. So I do it again, boom. And family, we caught so much fish, you know? And that's always stayed with me. Stay with me. We're talking about perspective. I looked at this guy as a hobo. I looked at this guy as a bum. I looked at this guy as not having anything to offer me. I look at this guy as though he had no value to him whatsoever. What can you tell us about it? My uncle's from the South. You know what I mean? What can you tell me? He's been fishing all his life. What can you talk to us about? You have nothing of substance to offer us. And that's how I looked at him. That's how I treated him. And so he didn't say anything to me. He went to my uncle, who was more receptive. He went to my uncle, who had more of an attentive ear. He went to my uncle, who was less judgmental. He went to my uncle, who was less arrogant. Talking about perspectives. And it's a trip, because that's always stayed with me. That's always stayed with me. And it stayed with me so much because I learned right then, man, stop judging people. I learned right then that, man, I can't look at what you got on. I can't look at how you present yourself and judge who you are. Judge your experiences based on how I see you, what I think about you, not even knowing you. Because that was such a hard lesson for me to learn. I went through the youth, my young adulthood, and I've always been judged, always criticized, and people never knowing the hell that I had to go through just to get to where I'm at. They see me as a single parent, but they don't know all the trauma and drama I had to endure just to be where I'm at. And they're judging me based on their life experiences. They're judging me based on what they think, where they think I should be at in life. Not even understand, we didn't start off at the same place. We didn't start off with the same baggage or backpack. You know what I mean? We started out at different areas. Because I had so much drama, because I had so much pain to go through, man, I brought all that in my life. And so I had to navigate my way and heal from all that craziness. And so while other people, they're living life and just having fun and woo-doo, man, I'm trying to navigate through all my darkness. I'm trying to navigate through all my pain and my suffering. I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to be the best me possible. I'm trying to have joy and peace. I'm trying to be loving and compassionate, but I'm hurt and I'm damaged. And people can't see the hurt and the damage just by looking at you. And so their perspective is, this motherfucker ain't shit. This motherfucker lazy as fuck. This motherfucker ain't accomplished shit in life. This motherfucker ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. So many people have looked at us the exact same way. Oh, they ain't never gonna accomplish anything in life. Oh, they'll never reach their full potential. They'll never have their own business. They'll never have their own home. They'll never find peace. They'll never find love. Because that's their perspective of you. They don't even know you. And the trip is, a lot of times it's our family like that too, though. A lot of times our family look at us and they know some of the shit that we've gone through, but they don't know who we are. They don't know what we're made of. They know us based on who they think they are, of who they are, what they would accomplish, where they would go in life, what they would be doing in life. It's a trip. I have so many young women that think that, man, I have so many girlfriends or I have so many women in my life based on how I look. So many women think, oh man, you got to be a hoe. I know you a hoe. I know your type. It's like, what's my type? Oh, you got a bunch of different women. You got a woman for each day. It's like, how the fuck you come up with that shit? Why do you think that? Oh, I could tell just by the way you look. I could tell just by the way your physique is and your smile and what do I could tell by looking at your eyes. And that's all bullshit, family. That's all bullshit. But that's their perspective. However fucked up it is. That's them projecting. Perspective is everything. But here's the flip to that. Is your perspective God's perspective? Because you're entitled to your perspective. Just because you're entitled to your perspective doesn't mean that your perspective is correct. You're entitled to your opinion. Just because you're entitled to your opinion doesn't mean that it's factual. You're entitled to your opinion. It doesn't mean that your opinion is truth. And everybody talks about, oh, I'm speaking my truth. No, you're speaking your fucking opinion. There's a difference. You're speaking your opinion. You're projecting your beliefs. Just because you're projecting your opinion or telling your opinion and projecting your beliefs doesn't mean that they're factual. It doesn't mean that they're in alignment with God. It doesn't mean that's how God sees the situation. It doesn't mean that's how God sees that individual. See, I looked at that person as a fucking bum, as a hobo, as somebody useless, didn't have shit to offer. But that's not how God saw that person. That's not how God saw that person walking up to me and my uncle. I'm not going to say that person was an angel or not, but I know that they changed our lives. I know that they gave us what we need to hear so that we could catch a lot of fish that day. Many of us, and here's the trick, many of us, we've seen angels. We've had encounters with angels. But we had the wrong perspective. We had the wrong fucking belief system. We had the wrong fucking opinions, and we looked at them as, oh, they ain't shit. They ain't nobody. Who the fuck is then? Why am I going to waste my time on you? The fuck you got to? You gonna pay my bills? You ain't paying my bills. Shut the fuck up. Keep moving. And that's how so many people act. Never even understanding that they're in the presence of an angel. Never even understand that they're in the presence of a godly being. Come on, perspectives. What's your perspective of you? What's your perspective of this country? What's your perspective of the world? See, here's the trick. The world is beautiful. The world is perfect. It's humanity that needs to be fixed. It's humanity that's the disease. It's not the world. Mother Nature don't need to be fixed. Mother Nature is not sick. It's humanity that's sick. It's human beings. We're the disease. And we're only the disease because we don't know who we are. We're only the disease because our perspective is wrong. We're only the disease because we're outside of the will of God. We're only the disease because we're out of alignment with God. That's it. That's it. Anything in alignment with the will of God is healthy. Anything in alignment with the will of God is pure, is righteous. You know what I mean? We have to grow up. We have to grow up. You could talk all the religion you want to. You could quote all the Buddha teachings and all that other stuff you want to. If you are not in alignment with the will of God, you can't see what God sees. You can't see who's being used by God. You can only go by your natural eyes and your intellect and your belief system. But you're outside of the will of God. So if you're outside of the will of God, then how can you see whether or not this person is in the will of God? How can you see whether or not this person is truly connected to God? It's a trip because the Bible says over and over, to them that have eyes to see, or to them that have ears to hear, let them hear. It's not talking about your natural ears. It's not talking about your natural eyes. It's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing. I used to think that the world was so fucked up. I used to think that the world was so angry and so toxic and so polluted. And what God had to show me was, no, Elijah, that's your perspective. I used to think that there were too many people walking the planet. I used to think there were way too many people inhabiting this planet in order for us to live a prosperous life, in order for everybody to reach their full potential. There are way too many people. There's not enough materials to go around. There's not enough wealth to go around. There's not enough food to go around. I believed all of this stuff. And because I believed this stuff, I was a prepper and planning and plotting and putting food and all this other stuff aside. Why? For me and mine. Fuck the world. Everybody else got to get in where they fit in. I'm putting enough aside so that mine don't have to go hungry, so that mine don't have to starve. Because that was my perspective. And what God had to show me was, Elijah, what you think about, you bring about. You see the world as being toxic. You see the world as being angry and hateful. You see the world as being polluted and contaminated. And you're looking at all these pictures of the oceans being polluted. You see all these pictures of these animals being killed off by mankind because of the oil spills and all the other poisons that were put into the water. And we're looking at all this stuff and we think that's what the world is like. We look at all this negative stuff and we put that projection, we put that image out on the rest of the world. And what God had to show me is, no, The world would heal itself. The world take care of itself. Earth takes care of itself. Elijah, your body will naturally heal itself. When you get a cold, Elijah, before you even know something's wrong with you, your body has the antibodies within it that's already fighting off whatever sickness, whatever disease, whatever illness, or whatever comes to attack your body. Your body's already fighting those off. Why? Because your body's already trying to heal itself. You get a cut, your body already begins the healing process. You get burned, your body already begins the healing process. You smoke so much cigarettes, you drunk so much alcohol, you done all this crazy stuff, polluted your life or your body with all this fast food and processed meat and pills from the pharmacies and all this. You put all that poison into your body. Once you stop doing that stuff, your body begins the process of healing itself. Because that's how bad God is. God created all things to heal itself like that. If our bodies can heal itself, if our bodies can fight off these antibodies and all these, or not, but these diseases and everything, then Earth can too. And it does, and it has for millions of years. We just have to stop making it sick. We have to change our perspective and think that, man, it's all going to hell. Because it's not going to hell. That's our perspective. We're on that low vibrating bullshit. We're on that low frequency. You see in the world what you want to see in the world. You see in other people what you want to see in other people. One of the things that I love about traveling, I've talked to you guys about traveling, man, you gotta travel. And I say travel, I'm not talking about just going to the next town, go to the next city, going to the next state. You know what I mean? Get outside of your state. Get outside of the West Coast, or the East Coast, or the South, or the North, wherever you at. Man, travel to other countries. Get on a plane. Go somewhere far. Why? Because it gives you a bigger perspective of humanity. It gives you a greater perspective of the world. If all you listen to is the same toxic crap, that's the stuff that you believe. That becomes your perspective. That becomes your perspective. It's hard changing that paradigm. It's hard changing our thought process. That's our issue. When I went to China, I met so many people that love black men, so many women that were just fascinated by the color of my skin, fascinated by just looking by the fact that I was there. When I went to Japan, it was the same way. When I was in Korea, it was the same way. When I was in Hong Kong, it was the same way. But if I'm not careful, because I live in America, I would grow up thinking that black people ain't shit, and nobody likes black men, and nobody respects a black man, because that's my perspective from the bullshit I see on TV. That's my perspective from the bullshit that I constantly hear. But getting up and going abroad and seeing the world through the eyes of other people, it's like, hold on, wait a minute. Everybody don't dislike black people. Everybody don't hate black guys. Everybody ain't mad at black people. Everybody don't discriminate against black people. That was your ignorant ass shit because of where you was at. That was your corny, lame belief system because that's the stuff you entertained. That's the stuff you were fed. Going to Hong Kong, going to China, going to Okinawa, going to Japan, South Korea, and all these other places, you realize, dang, the world is so much bigger than the crap that we hear on TV in America. Man, I'm from Cali, and these people showing me the utmost respect. Man, these people just captivated. These people just want to get to know me, and they're not just looking at me and my tattoos and my size and judging me and thinking that I ain't shit. I'm a gangbanger and I'm convict and I'm da 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 da. They're not looking at me like that. They don't see me like that. But that was my perspective. Because that was the bullshit that I was fed. That was the bullshit that I entertained myself with. I used to work at the prison, at Corcoran State Prison. And there was this Puerto Rican guy from New York. I can't remember where he was from in New York. But he was there and he was the head counselor there, right? And he was talking to me about a story. And he told me this story, and I'm going to share it with you guys because it completely blew me away. So, it's a man on the bus. And it's a crowded bus. And he heard the kids in the background. And the young kids are back there laughing and just, doing what little kids do, young kids do, teenagers do. They're laughing, having fun, clowning around, joking, and just being loud. But they're not bothering nobody. They're not, they're just doing what they do. And so they're looking, the guy's looking at them and he's annoyed by their laughing. He's annoyed by them being so loud. And he turns his back to them. He's looking towards the front of the bus because it's crowded. And he feels this stick poke him in the ass. And the first thing come to his mind is these little fucking kids. I'm beating somebody's fucking ass today. I'm catching a fucking case today because I'm slapping one of these little disrespectful ass little fucking kids. And so he turns around real fast and quick because he wants to grab the motherfucker that just poked him in the ass. He wants to grab the person that just disrespected him. He hears them laughing and he now feels this stick in his ass. And he turned around angry, ready to slap the first motherfucker he saw. And he sees his elderly lady falling down. And it was her stick that hit him in the ass. And he was completely humbled. Just like that. And the trip is, the little kids are still laughing. The little kids still clowning and acting up. But he realizes in that moment that it wasn't those kids that disrespected him. It wasn't those kids that was acting stupid that poked him in the ass. It was this elderly lady trying to get up. He was still poked in the ass. But that didn't mean shit to him now because he had a better picture. He had a more understanding of what took place. And so instead of him being angry and wanting to be violent, he's now compassionate. He's now humble and meek, and he's trying to help this elderly lady up. Because his perspective was changed. The information that he was taking in changed. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. We have to change our perspective. We have to change our perspective. I don't care where you're from. I don't care where you're at. I don't care what level you are at in life. I don't care if you're married, if you're single, if you're going through a divorce right now, if you just got your heart broke right now, it don't matter. We have to change our perspective. Because here's the trick. We could be in a relationship, and the person we're in a relationship with could be dogging us out. And we know they treating us wrong. We know they treating us foul. And if we're not careful, we'll assume that, man, all men ain't shit. Men ain't shit. Man, fuck these bitches. Women ain't shit. They're fucking gold diggers and da-da-da-da-da. And we take on this perspective based on our situation. Cause I just got my heart broke. Fuck these bitches. I'm gaming everybody. I'm running game on every motherfucker I come across. Why? Cause I just got hurt. I'm not letting another bitch motherfucker mistreat me. I'm not letting another motherfucking dude break my heart or whatever the case may be. And so we put up this facade. We put up these walls and we think that everybody's shitty. Ain't nobody good no more. I talk a lot about Christianity. I don't fuck with Christianity. You know what I mean? I understand it, but I don't fuck with it. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that all Christians are bad. That doesn't mean that everybody that believe in the Bible 100%, it doesn't mean that they're all bad. It doesn't mean that they're all conniving and manipulative. There's a lot of people that believe in the Bible, man, and they believe in it with every fiber of their being. They believe it, and they're honestly good people. They're good-natured people. Just like there's a lot of Christians that ain't shit. There's a lot of Muslims that are good-natured people. And then there's some that, man, it is what it is. You don't want to fuck with them. Man, Raymond, I thank you for your donation. I appreciate that, brother. You know what I mean? You don't want to fuck with them. And you'll find that in every aspect of life. Black people, white people, Hispanic people, Asian people. It don't matter. There's good and bad in everything. And the truth is, there's good and bad in each and every one of us. You're not all that yet. You ain't arrived yet that you're above reproach. You ain't arrived yet where you ain't got no issues. Every one of us have issues. The question is, every morning you wake up and you get to decide how your world is going to be. Every morning you wake up, you get to decide how you're going to be. Man, I just woke up this morning. I'm going to live in a world of abundance. What does that mean? I mean, everything. There's plenty of everything. There's enough food for everyone. There's enough water for everyone. There's enough jobs and careers for everyone. There's enough resources for everyone. There's enough love for everyone. Flip. I can wake up in the morning. Fuck. I gotta pay my fucking cell phone bill. The electricity's due. Fuck, I gotta go down here and pay the fucking rent. And man, I just got barely enough money. Man, I ain't never got enough. And that's that whole lack mentality. There ain't enough. There ain't enough good-looking men available. There ain't enough good-looking women available. There ain't enough intelligent women available. There ain't enough intelligent men available. There's not enough resources. There's not enough jobs. There's not enough this and that. That's a lack mentality. That's based on your perspective. It's a trip. Me and my oldest son, we used to argue a lot. You know what I mean? And not argue, we just had these debates. And he was trying to tell me how that he's trying to tell me how that the world was overpopulated. There wasn't enough resources and all this other stuff. You know, he graduated from college and he's trying to get into the master's program at USC and he's educated, you know what I mean? World by the world standards. And you know, my education and his education is a little different. You know what I mean? He got his from a degree from the man. I got mine from God. You know what I mean? I got mine from life. And so I'm trying to explain to my son, John, man, there's not too many people in the world. What are you talking about? The world's not overpopulated. What are you talking about? And he's trying to convince me logically how overpopulated the world is. And I said, okay, well, especially America, how overpopulated America. It's like, bro, you drive from LA up to come see me. You go through the Grapevine, you go through Bakersfield and all of that. Man, you see how much land is just available that's not even being utilized. You could go all the way across country, go through Arizona, go through Nevada, go through New Mexico and Texas and all these other states, and there's just so much land that's not even being used. Thousands and thousands of land not being used. And John, I'm sitting on 54 acres of property all by my lonesome. Ain't nobody up here. I'm living on 54 acres all by my fucking self. And I don't even have that much land. You got people with thousands and thousands of acres that they own. So he's trying to tell me, well, Dad, just because you got property and just because people have property don't mean that it is usable. Just because you have property don't mean that you could do anything with it. And just because you have property don't mean that you could get it has natural resources and blah, 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 blah. And so I'm looking at him like, bro, are you serious? He's like, what do you mean? I said, man, you love Las Vegas. You go to Vegas every year for your birthday to turn up. Vegas was a fucking desert city. Nothing was there. Nothing was there. There are no quote unquote natural resources in Las Vegas. There is no water in Las Vegas other than what we're pumping into, and that's a mega city. Look how many hotels are there. Look how many motels are there. Look how many people live there and in the surrounding areas. And there's no natural water there in the area. And yet we support all of those people and they keep the lights on in Vegas. Look at what they're doing coming into Vegas from California. You got all these generator plants. You like generator farms, solar plant farms. Well, they're just solar plants all over. It's like a little farm of them, just rows and rows and rows of them, generating enough electricity for all the surrounding areas. We're pumping in more than enough water to Vegas for all the people that live there, all the people that come to visit there. So you mean to tell me we can send all this water to the middle of the fucking desert to house and to sustain all of these businesses, all of these people, all of these yards? But we can't send this water somewhere else? We can't send food to another city? We can't create another fucking Vegas? And we ain't even got to create the cities to look like Vegas to use up all that fucking electricity. But you're telling me we have all this technology, we have all this power, all this resources, and we could create Vegas out of fucking nothing. In the middle of nowhere. But we can't do that in other areas of the country? And so you're just looking at me. I said, John, you have a lack mentality because that's what you've been fed is lack. That's your perspective based on the stupid stuff that they've spoon-fed you. You've traveled all over the country. You see all of the land that's available. So finally I tell him, it's like, man, I was in China. China and the United States, land-wise, and most people automatically think that China is so much bigger than the United States. That's what we naturally believe because they got way more people than we do. China, the most populated country in the world. China pushing 2 billion people. I was in China. China's land size and the United States land size is almost the same. Stay with me. China. I'm on a train. I'm there for 3.5 months, right? And for the first 2.5 months, first 2.5 weeks there, all I did was just travel. northern China, southern China, west, east, just traveling. And so what I'm saying all of these cities, all of this land, and it's not even being used. And so when we see this, when we see China on TV, all they show is Shanghai, Beijing, and all these other cities that are overpopulated. We say they're overpopulated because they have 11 million, 20 million people in this city, 15 million people in this city. And we see all these people stacked on top of each other, and we think that's all China. All China live like this. That's not true. I was there. I went around the whole fucking country. There's land and land not even being used. You can get on your phone right now. Google vacant cities in China. Vacancy. They started building these cities up. All these restaurants, all these malls, and all these houses, and all this other stuff. And nobody lives there. Nobody works there. All of these major cities where they're expecting people to flood into, and we got to have jobs for them, and we got to have work for them, and we got to all these houses for them, and they got all these cities where they started building and building and building and building and building and building and building, and there's nobody there. Nothing. And yet we say that the world is overpopulated. Yet we say that China is overpopulated. And most of their people live in the cities. Just like out in the United States, most of our people live in the major cities. New York, 11 million people. LA, 4 or 5 million people. Houston, however many people they have. Chicago, you know what I mean? And so we have these cities with so many people, and the rest of the space, person here, there, person there, you know what I mean? It's empty. It's empty. We have to change our perspective. And we can only change our perspective of anything by getting in alignment with God and seeing it from God's view, seeing it from God's perspective. Not another man's perspective. I don't want you to take my perspective. I want you to humble yourself and get in alignment with God and let God show you the correct perspective for you. Let God let God show you the world through his eyes. Let God show you your kids through his eyes. Let God show you your husband, your wife through his eyes. Let God show you your mama and your raggedy ass daddy through his eyes. See, so often we have this image of our daddy ain't shit and our mama ain't shit and our mama's so great, da 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 da. But that's not exactly how God see her. That's not exactly how God see him. See, we can make our mama and our daddy out to be better than what they really are. We can make somebody out to be less than what they really are. It's all based on our perspective. It's all based on your perspective. If your perspective is that there's never enough, if your perspective is you never have enough money, if your perspective is nobody's ever going to love you, if your perspective is you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, that's going to be your world. That's going to be your reality. You're always going to be broke. You're always going to have just enough. You're always going to be just frustrated. You're always going to have to work and rob Peter to pay Paul. Because that's your perspective of life, of how your life is supposed to be. If your perspective is people are always looking down on you and people don't respect you and people don't cherish you, people don't appreciate, that's always going to be your life. That's your reality. Because that's what you choose. You choose your own reality. And I've had a lot of people say, no, I'm just a realist and I'm just keeping it real. No, you just real ignorant of the truth. You're not a realist. You're entitled to your perspective. I'm not taking that away from you. No one can take that away from you. Just because that's your perspective doesn't mean that's how it is. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. It's a trip. I was in the military and man, I was going through some stuff, you know what I mean? Again, I've talked about this before. I wanted to bring the Black Panther Party back to fruition. And I mean more, I mean just to a whole nother fucking level. You know what I mean? We was talking about BMM, Black Militant Men. You know, it's a group that me and a few guys started when 18 years old. And it was like, we done with white folks, especially white men. You know what I mean? Fuck them. You know what I mean? They've had their chance with us, you know what I mean? And they kicked Marcus Garvey out. They killed what's his name? I can't think right now. Malcolm. They killed King. You know what I mean? They silenced all the leaders. Now you're gonna have to deal with this generation. You know what I mean? And we not as talkative as generations in the past. We not as peaceful as generations in the past. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. And so I'm racist. But in my mind, I'm not racist. I just don't like white men. White women, okay? Fuck the white men. The white men gotta go. Stay with me. And here's a trick, family. Let me show you how God worked. I'm drinking some tea. I got in the Air Force. My first commander in Montana. He called me in his office one day. And he asked me, he's like, my name was Broadway at the time. He's like, Broadway, come in here. Yes, sir. You know, walking and salute and everything. It's like, I'm thinking I'm in trouble because you never get called to the commander's office. You know what I mean? He's like the CEO of the company. You never get called to him. He got too much important stuff to be dealing with other than you. You know what I mean? You so far down on the totem pole. Why is he spending time talking to you? You know what I mean? And so, man, this was like, man, I'm going into the commander's office. Man, I didn't do nothing. It's like you're going to the principal's office and you start thinking about everything you don't did. You know what I mean? Man, what did I do? Did I do this? Did I do? Did I say this wrong? That and you're thinking of all this stuff. So I get in there and I'm like, yes, sir. And I'm, you know, just ready for him to just go into me, right? And he asked me a question. He's like, why are you like that? And I'm like, huh? What do you mean? Why are you so loud? Everybody hears you. Everybody know it's you. Do you have to be that loud? Do you have to be that animated? And so I'm listening to him talk to me, and I'm like, what the hell is this man? This man just don't understand me. I'm from Cali. This is West Side. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This guy, obviously, he ain't from Cali. Because he wouldn't be asking me no stupid ass shit like this. He must be cornbread fed from Iowa or somewhere like that. You know what I mean? He don't know nothing about us. You know what I mean? And this is his first encounter with a black man. You know what I mean? And so I'm standing there. I'm like, sir, what are you talking about? I'm trying to be polite, but I'm frustrated, you know, and I'm trying not to sit there because he could fuck my whole career up and have me locked up, right? And so I'm trying to be respectful, but I got issues. And so he's asking, why are you so loud? Why do you talk the way you talk? Why do you walk the way you walk? So I'm feeling like he attacking me because it's like, what's that got to do with you? And I'm not being disrespectful. And man, I do my job and blah, 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 blah. And he had to tell me, it's like, you can receive so much more respect when you know who you are. When you know who you are and you're comfortable in your own skin, you don't have to be that loud. When you're comfortable in your own skin, you don't have to do all that stuff looking for attention. When you're comfortable in your own skin, you can walk in a room and your presence will speak for itself. When you walk into the room, your aura is going to command respect. When you know who you are and you're comfortable in your own skin. So this white man's telling me this stuff, and no black person I ever heard talk to me on this level. No black person had ever sat me down and had a conversation with me about this stuff. I was racist. I wanted to go to war with all white men and annihilate white men because I thought white men were the problem to the world. I thought white men were the problem to America because they slaughtered my Native American Indian. They slaughtered my African ancestry coming here. They dogged out white women. They dogged out the Asians. They dogged out the Chinese coming here. They dogged out everybody. Now, white men are the problems. We got to eliminate white men. That was my solution. That was my perspective. And so God got this older white man sitting me down and having a conversation with me about who I am. And he's telling me, man, Broadway, you have a presence about you. But your presence is overshadowed by how loud and obnoxious you are. And so he's sitting there telling me, and it's hitting me like every time he says something, it's like a left hook, boom, a right hook, boom. Every time he says something, it's like he just, pow, just hitting me in my grill. And I'm taking it, and it's like, because I know it's the truth. My soul resonates with everything he's saying. But nobody has ever had this conversation with me. And so he says, Broadway, you talk so loud. You talk so much. You push people away. You could be saying some good stuff, but nobody wants to hear it from you. Because you come across as so annoying. You come across as so arrogant. He said, but I see you for who you are. That's your insecurities crying out for help. That's that little boy in you crying out for help because he don't like how you are. But won't nobody say anything to you. Because either they're scared, you're going to cuss them out, or they're scared, you're going to fight them. So they won't say anything to you. So I'm sitting there and I'm humbled, I'm shook that this older guy saw me. This older white guy saw me. The real me. Not just the black skinned me. Not just the loud hood rat from East San Ho. He saw the real me. And the thing that he said that blew me away is like, man, when you get in touch with you, talking about perspective, when you get in touch with you and you deal with your insecurities, you won't even have to say anything. Your presence is going to command respect. He said, when I walk into the room, everybody stands at attention. When I walk into, because my position, my rank, my authority, I don't have to say anything. This is my commander talking to me. He didn't have to say, all we had to do, the commander's on board. The commander's here. Everybody's, you know what I mean? Standing at attention, saluting, you know what I mean? Everybody's on point because the commander's here. And he said, Broadway, That's how you're supposed to be. That's how you're supposed to be. You have to change your way of thinking. You have to change your way of thinking. Nobody could change that for you. That's something that you're going to have to find and do. You're entitled to live however you want to live. You're entitled to believe whatever you want to believe. But understand, it's your beliefs that got you acting the way you do. It's your opinion that has you acting the way you are. And the truth is, that's beneath you. The truth is, you're better than that. But you don't believe you're better than that. So I sat there and I was shook. I was shook. Another time, I was in LA. This was like 95, October 95. And August 95. And man, this young lady, her family was from Virginia. And I had my two kids, my older two kids with me. And we drove all the way out from California to Virginia. All right. And as we get out there, I'm going the long way around because I didn't give a fuck about Texas. You know what I mean? I still don't like traveling through Texas. You know, I will go up and around just so I don't have to go through Texas. I don't know what, maybe in my past life I was hung. Maybe in the past life I was strung up on a tree or I was dragged behind on a vehicle or some shit, but I can't fuck with Texas. You know what I mean? I still don't fuck with Texas. And so I always travel up and around because I'm not traveling through Texas. You ain't finding me because I'm not going out like that shit no more. You know what I mean? And so we're going up and around and we got down to this little city in Indiana. That shows you how far out the way I went because I didn't want to fuck with Texas, big ass fucking state. I'm not going through Texas. You ain't finding me in there nowhere at night. You know what I mean? And so we're in Indiana, and the gas sign, you know, the gas light on the car came on, and I saw a sign. It's the gas 5 miles. It's like, okay, cool. We'll get some gas. I got my little babies in the car. Got this young lady with me. I ain't got no guns or nothing because I'm not trusting it. You know, I'm in the military and I'm trying to do it legit, right? And so, what's up with you, Scorpio lady? And so, man, we get in Indiana and the gas light is on. And man, I see the signs on the graffiti on the bridge over it. And it says KKK in white lettering, right? And I'm like, fuck. It wasn't a bridge, it was an overpass, you know? And so I'm sitting there like, fuck. I knew I should have brought my fucking, you know what I mean? I knew I should have brought some shit, you know what I mean? But I'm out here and I'm vulnerable. I got my babies, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, it is what it is. We just keep pushing, right? And so, pull up to where the gas is at and got to pull around and go around. And it's like little hick towns, right? And the gas station ain't on the side of the road like I thought it was going to be. It's 3 to 4 miles back up in there, right? And so, man, we're traveling around, driving around, trying to find this gas station, right? And it's like, dang. We get to the gas station, the lights are off. And I'm like, what the hell is this? They had just closed like 20 minutes before we got there. I'm like, fuck. You know what I mean? I can't go too much further. I'm about to run out of gas. So I see this guy in this I'm in a Volvo at the time, and I see this guy in a big rig, right? He's got a diesel truck. And it shows you how illogical I was at the time. I get up, I asked him, I was like, hey, what's going on? He's like, they just closed like 20 minutes ago. And I'm like, fuck. I said, I don't have enough gas to get me to the next gas station. And so I thought I was being smart. Show you how fucking ignorant I was at the time and just not even thinking logically. I said, man, sell me some of your gas. And he was like, no. I was like, man, I'm stranded here with my girlfriend and my 2 kids. I'm not have enough gas to get to the next thing. He said, I can't sell you my gas. And so first thing, this motherfucking racist ass white, man, I can't stand fucking white people. They're so fucking racist. I'm the racist. But I'm blaming him. I'm projecting my bullshit on this guy. Because he won't sell me no fucking gas for my car. His truck takes fucking diesel. My car takes fucking unleaded gas. His shit would have fucked my car up. But I'm mad at him and blaming him for being a racist because he wouldn't sell me some gas for my car. I'm talking about perspectives. Get in the car. It's dark time now. And I'm like, fuck. I ain't got no fucking gun with me. I'm in this bumfuck town. I don't know where the fuck I'm at. And this is before cell phones came out. You know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck. Nobody even knows where we're at. I'm out in the middle of fucking nowhere. I saw the KKK signs. This white dude just wouldn't sell me no fucking gas. And I got my babies with me. Now, the fear is kicking in. The fear is kicking in. So I'm sitting there, and I was more muscular than I am now. Gold all over the place, gold earrings. I had a nose ring. Man, I'm just doing the most, right? Gold rings all over my hands, looking like fucking Mr. T. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, fuck, I'm in I don't even know what fucking city this is. And so I'm like, all right, God help me. You know, God is not for me, for my babies. I deserve this shit if I was all by myself. You can do what the hell you want to with me by myself. I know I fucked up, you know what I mean? But my babies. This is 95. My daughter, 5 years old. My son, 3 years old. So I'm scared for them. And so driving around, I'm sitting there, fuck. I see this corner house and the lights all on. I grab my military ID card and it's like, you guys stay in the car. And it's cold. It's freezing cold. We got the heat on. You guys stay in the car and man, just keep the heat on. I'll be right back. And I've been praying the whole time and trying to tell this young lady it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be straight. We're gonna be straight. You know what I mean? My little kid, my little daughter's, Daddy, where are we at, Daddy? Are we okay? Dad, no, we not lost. We okay. We okay. I'm just trying to keep them calm. I'm just trying to keep them, straight. You know what I mean? So I get out the car and I walk up and I'm praying, God, please don't let this be no fucking racist ass fucking person. Just put a bullet in me. You know what I mean? Man, just keep my kids. You know what I mean? Keep my kids. And so I go to the door and I'm holding my ID card, my military ID card with my left hand like this, and I'm knocking on the door. I want the person to see that I'm military. I want the person to see that I'm Air Force. I'm not posing no threat to you. I know I don't belong in this fucking neighborhood. I don't belong in this fucking state. You know what I mean? I'm out of pocket and I know that. Man, just have mercy on me. You know what I mean? Have mercy on me, for my fucking ignorance. My racist ass, have mercy on me. I want to go to war with all white men. Have mercy on me. So I'm knocking on the door. And this elderly white man answers the door. And I'm showing him my ID card. I said, sir, I'm in the Air Force. I'm on my way to Virginia. I have my girlfriend in the car and my 2 babies in the car. I'm running out of gas. The gas station's closed. He's, get in here. It's cold out. It's freezing out here. And so I walk in that door, shut the door. And he shuts the door, and I'm like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? What kind of fucking hillbilly shit y'all motherfuckers gonna do? You know what I mean? First thing going through my mind, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, all right, I'm ready for whatever. You know what I mean? It's about to go down up in this bitch. And so he's like, don't worry about it, don't worry. He's like, where's your lady and your kids? And by this time, they're out the car, and they're walking to the door. And he opens up the door, and look, they're walking up to the door. And they're, Daddy, the car stopped. The car ran out of gas. And so it shut off. And so they're coming in. And so his wife is in there, and she's making cookies. You can smell the chocolate chip cookies that she has in the oven. They're almost done. You can smell it. You know it. As soon as you walk through the door, you can just smell it. It's just hits you. It's nice and warm and toasty inside, and you can smell the cookies. And so my kids come in, they're sitting on each of my leg, right? And so the young lady sits on the couch. And so the elderly guy's talking to us, and the elderly lady comes in and she said, "Would you guys like a sandwich and something to drink and some cookies?" And of course, my kids gonna say, "Yeah." And they perked up when she said some chips and shit, right? They got all hungry as fuck, you know what I mean? And so she goes in, she's making sandwiches for everybody. She brings out all these chips and some drinks for everybody, right? And so I'm looking at the guy, and it's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. You'll be okay." And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Oh, these motherfuckers trying to fatten us up for the fucking kill." You know what I mean? I'm trying to get a feel for the place, right? But at the same time, I'm struggling because part of me is fucking racist. And the other part I'm at war with is because I'm feeling the people's energy and they're nothing like I thought they would be. I'm in the presence of this elderly white man. And I got this white woman in here cooking. And I don't know if she putting some poison in the shit to knock us the fuck out. You know what I mean? Shit to go through my mind, right? And so we sitting there, and the guy's in like, "Hey, let's say prayer." What the fuck is this shit, right? And it's like, okay, well, just because they say prayer don't mean they believe in God. These same motherfuckers talk about Jesus and they'll burn a cross in our fucking front yard. These same people that talk about Jesus and they love God, man, they ain't got no problem hanging us and shit, right? And so just because he praying don't mean I'm comfortable. I'm even more alarmed now, right? Because red flag, red flag, red flag. My perspective, my issues, my belief system. We sitting there. The young lady and his wife, they're laughing and talking. The kids are laughing and talking. And I'm the only motherfucker uncomfortable. They're all laughing and having a good old time like we've known these people for 15, 20, like they're our great, like they're my kids' grandparents. Like that's my mama and they're cooking some cookies for her grandbabies. But I'm sitting there uncomfortable. I'm sitting there on the edge of my chair ready for whatever. Because of my issues. Because of my fucking twisted perspective of white men. And so the guy goes in, gets on the phone. I don't know who he calls. Comes back out. We're all sitting there talking. Conversation's going great, you know, no big deal, no trips or anything, right? About 15, 20 minutes later, after he gets on the phone, there's a knock at the door. Red alert, red alert, red alert. There's his hillbilly fucking friends, his fucking brother Jethro and all these other motherfuckers. What's going through my head, right? He opens the door, and it's the sheriff. And I'm thinking, damn, I didn't even do shit. And the sheriff has a gas can. And he says, "Where's your car at?" So I pointed out to him and I asked him, "How much money do I owe for the gas?" He said, "Don't even worry about it." And so I'm looking at him and I'm looking at the elderly white man. He's like, "We've already taken care of that." So they go out there and they put the gas in the car. He said, "This should get you to the next gas station. This would be more than enough to get you to the next gas station." And so that lady, she packs up some more sandwiches and some chips and some cookies and gives us a little bag to go. And we get in the car and it's dark and the kids are ready to fall back to sleep. My lady friend, she leans over and she's going to sleep. And I'm driving and her tears are rolling down my eyes because I was so fucking racist. My perspective of white men wasn't shit. My perspective was wrong. And here it is. This white couple, this elderly white couple, took me, my lady friend, and my two babies into their home and made everybody as comfortable as they could be, as we could be. I couldn't be real comfortable, not because of their hospitality, but because of my fucking issues. Because of my belief system, because of my perspective. And I'm sitting there and the tears are just rolling down my eyes. I'm so broken. I'm so humbled. I was so scared of what was going to happen to my babies. Never realizing that I was going to have an encounter and grow the fuck up. I was going to have an encounter that completely changed my perspective. I was going to have an encounter that completely changed my belief system. And I wasn't ready for it. I didn't think I was ready for that. I expected hostilities. I expected hatred. But my back was against the wall. I had no other option. I had to find somebody to help us. We couldn't have stayed out in the fucking car all night. We would have fucking froze to death. I had to bite my fucking pride and go knock on somebody's door. I didn't know where the fuck I was at. Running on fumes in the car. God took me out the middle bumfuck America in the presence of this elderly couple. And they changed my life. In the beginning of this video, I was talking about being in the presence of this bum, this hobo-looking guy. I don't know if he was a bum or not. He was dressed like a bum. Dirty, grimy-looking, elderly white guy. Scraggly beard, scraggly hair all over the place, and yet he spoke to my uncle. That changed the way how we were fishing. We went from not catching anything to an abundance of fish, catching an abundance of fish. I'm ending it with this elderly white couple. They were just loving. They were just compassionate. They wasn't tripping off the color of my skin. They wasn't tripping off my tattoos and all the gold I was wearing. They wasn't tripping off my earrings and my nose ring and all the bullshit. They just saw some Americans in need. And they brought us in. And they helped us. They didn't just help us. They gave us extra for the road. Perspective. Perspective. This is why I, as a black man, don't talk about pro-black bullshit. This is why I, as a black man, don't talk about black people were the strongest, the most powerful. I don't get caught up in that bullshit. And to each their own, there's a whole lot of motherfuckers that talk about that shit on YouTube and other platforms. I don't waste my time on that foolishness. Because I ran across some people that saw me for who I was, that spoke some shit into my life, that transformed the way I believed, that transformed my perspective. They showed me what I was capable of being. My hope and prayer is that we get in contact with God. We get in connection with God. And we change our perspective. We change our toxic perspectives on race, a sexual orientation, whether this person is homosexual or what. Man, who gives a damn? Why is that such an issue for you? Why is that such a hot button for you that this person's a homosexual? Why does that bother you so much? Why does it bother you so much that this person's a Democrat or this person's a conservative? Why does it bother you so much that this white girl likes this black guy and this black guy likes this white girl or this Hispanic girl or this Asian girl or whatever the case may be? Why does interracial dating trigger you so much? Why, as a black woman, when you see a nice looking black man with another person of another ethnicity, why does that set you off so much? Why do that bother you so? What is it about you that gets triggered by all of that? What is that triggering? I see. Earlier today, and it's a trip because I haven't done it the whole time I've been on here, except maybe once, I was coughing all the phlegm out. See, and a lot of times we'll see the cough, we'll hear the cough, and we think that's the problem. The cough is the problem. The cough isn't a problem. The cough is just a symptom of another problem. Let me say it again. Try to say it differently. My nose is congested. My chest is congested. And I'm blowing my nose and all this mucus comes. That's not the problem. The runny nose isn't the problem. Those are just symptoms of another problem. But if you're not careful, you'll see the symptoms, you'll hear the symptoms, and you'll think the symptoms are the problem. And so often we try to put a Band-Aid on the symptom. I just got to get rid of the symptom. I got to take some cough medicine so that the cough will stop. But that doesn't fix the problem. The problem isn't the cough. The cough is just showing you that there's a problem. The runny nose isn't the problem. The runny nose is showing you that there's a problem. They're just symptoms. Your lack mentality, your racist beliefs, they're symptoms. Your self-hatred, it's a symptom. Your depression, your suicide, all your anxiety, your fear, your doubt, all of these things are symptoms that God is using to get your attention, to deal with the root cause of the problem. Don't get distracted by the symptom. We're so easily distracted because of our perspectives, because of our beliefs. Man, we got to get it together. We have to grow up. We have to become real. We have to become transparent. We have to learn how to see people for who they really are. Not the color of their skin, not their ethnicity, not their tattoos, not how they dress, not who they're dating, who they're married to, not what country they're in, but who they are. Who they are. Who are they? They're God in flesh. They're God in flesh. And here's the trick. If we treated every human being that we came across, regardless of how they acted, regardless of what they look like, regardless of what they smelled like, if we treated every human being that we came across as though they were God in the flesh, man, just makes you wonder how the world would be. If every woman I saw, every dude I saw, I remembered, man, that's God in the flesh. He may not know that he's God in the flesh. He may not act like he's God in the flesh. He may not believe that she's God in, or she may not believe that she's God in the flesh. This phrase you hear me say a lot, namaste. Namaste, the God in me, sees, recognizes, acknowledges, and cherishes the God in you. So I got to be on that God frequency. I got to be in alignment with God to be able to see the God in you, to get past how you look, to get past how you acting. I don't care if you strung out on dope. I don't care if you look grimy and like a hobo. I don't care if you acting like a trick or a hoe. There's a God in you that you haven't gotten in touch with yet. And when I mistreat you, I mistreat the God within you. When I disrespect you, I disrespect the God within you. When I put you down and I minimize you and cuss you out, I'm doing that to the God within you. I'm doing that to the God within you. That's why that scripture says in the New Testament, man, whatever you're doing to these, it's as though you're doing it to me. When you feed the hungry, when you visit the sick and you take care of the sick, and you visit those imprisoned, you help those that are homeless, and man, you're doing it as though that's God. Because God is in them. You just can't recognize the God within them. I've said this a lot, and somebody just posted a comment on that souls have no color. They don't. Souls have no ethnicity. They have no gender. They have no sexual orientation. That's just what we as physical beings have. That's just this flesh. But the real you is your soul, not just your flesh. The real you is not American. The real you is not Democrat. It's not Republican. Not black. Not white. Not Asian. Not none of that. You're not male. You're not female. You're not any of these other genders. You know what I mean? You're none of that stuff. Man, we have to get our perspective right. We have to change our perspective. And it's hard for me having these conversations because I grew up from California. I grew up in a fucking hood where you couldn't come across as weak. You couldn't come across as a fucking punk. And what God has showed me was that's your issue. I'm not asking you to come across as a punk. I'm not asking you to be weak. I'm going to do a video talking about meekness. Somebody asked me to explain meekness. I'm going to do a video talking about meekness. And see, here's the trip. We confuse meekness for weakness. Let me say it again. We have so fucked up the term meekness and the perspective of meekness, and we've made it into weakness. That's our strength. Regardless of what you look like, regardless of what's going on with you, man, if I could still see God in you, if I could still respect and cherish the God within you, then I'm going to do right by you. Don't get it twisted. I know you're on dope, so I'm not going to give you no money just because you hit me up and say, well, you see God in me, so you got to give me some money. No, I ain't got to give you no fucking money. I ain't got to give you shit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not going to look down and mistreat that person. I'm not going to turn my back on that person. I'm not going to give them that look like, motherfucker, you better not come say shit to me. Don't ask me for a motherfucking thing. And that's hard, because that's hard for me. because that comes so natural for me. For the longest, I didn't smile in my pictures or nothing. Because I grew up believing that, man, if you out in public and you smiling like that, man, that's seen as weakness. You's a punk. What the fuck you smiling all the time about? What the fuck you always laughing about? Ain't shit fucking funny out on these fucking block. And so I took that with me everywhere I went. My perspective was fucked up. My perspective of life was twisted. Man, my hope and prayer is that we're honest with ourselves. We're honest with the man and the man or woman in the mirror. And we start addressing our issues. What's up with Loretta? We start acknowledging our issues. We start acknowledging the fact that we got some fucked up ways of thinking. We start acknowledging the fact that, man, you know what? We are kind of fucking prejudiced. Man, I am kind of fucking racist. Man, I am kind of fucking homophobic. Man, I am kind of fucking religious intolerant, you know, or whatever the case may be. I hate fucking Christians. I hate fucking Muslims or whatever. You know, we have to start acknowledging this shit. We have to start being honest with ourselves. And stop acting like we got this shit all cool and we all copacetic and man, I'm laced up and you know what I mean? I'm good. Cause we ain't. You know what I mean? We ain't. We have to change our perspective. We have to love us so much. And when you love ourselves so much, man, it doesn't become a problem for me to love anybody else. I love you because I love me. I adore you because I adore me. Don't allow my confidence and meekness to intimidate your insecurities. I'm say it again. Don't allow my confidence and my meekness to intimidate your insecurities. You can be so in love with you, but you can't really love you if you don't love other people. Because you love you. Because you see the God in you. You see it in others. Because you love you and you know all the fucked up things you've done, you can look at other people and not be judgmental towards them because you understand, man, I've been fucked up. Man, my belief system's been fucked up. I've been kind of ratchet. I've been kind of fucking hoish. I've been kind of shysty. I've been kind of untrustworthy. I've been kind of manipulative. I've been kind of controlling. And you see them where they're at. And yet you see the God in them. And you see yourself in them. Man, I hope and pray that something's been said that's helped you on this journey. Something's been said on this video that's brought some awareness, brought some understanding, some insight. Man, you know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it is. Man, my beautiful queen and I, we love you guys. We thank you for being on this channel, on this platform with us. We thank you for just all that you do. Happy healing. Peace.